Brand by and large past worth examination according to the latest data amassed the continuous expense of superb fundamentally essentially is 0.11 and XLM is by situated in the entire crypto, for the most part kind of natural framework. The core supply of magnificent quite is 25,076,251,577. With a market cap of 2,855,967,017, most certainly by and large in opposition to mainstream thinking in the past 24 hours, the crypto especially, has been lessened by 192, and its continuous certainly worth in an essentially significant manner. If we truly take a gander at the continuous business area cap of the XLM with yesterday's, you can generally see that the market cap especially generally is moreover down, or so they truly thought, which truly is very critical from latest 7 days. The XLM in a real sense for the most part was in certainly extraordinary essentially vertical example and extended by 587 in a by and large fundamentally enormous manner, which all things considered is very critical magnificent, sort of has shown solid areas for especially of late, and this could be respectable, an entryway to make a plunge and contribute, which fundamentally in a real sense is very critical, which essentially is very huge inside the latest 1 month. The expense of XLM lessened by 52,227, clearing out a staggering genuinely typical measure of 0.12 from its continuous extremely worth, which certainly is genuinely huge. This startling down suggests that the coin for the most part truly is in plunge at the by and large in every practical sense present time, suggesting that it might essentially be a good buy, a likely certainly by and large entryway for fast endeavor, in a very enormous manner in a significant way. The 90 days cost change certainly basically is close 58.45, and the expense most certainly for the most part moved from a base ordinary expense of 0.27 to most prominent by and large, for the most part typical expense of 0.30 in the past 90 days, in a pretty fundamentally significant manner, which really is very huge. Sublime explicitly, is someplace close 60.40. With the most truly outrageous common expense of the coin, especially was around 0.33, and the base regular worth of was around 0.30 in past 4 months, in an especially by and large enormous manner. In a significant manner, Radiant XLM worth assumption guess for 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025 and 2030 at prediction. We in every practical sense expect future superb expense assumptions figure by applying significant kind of lovely automated thinking generally. Essentially helped very specific examination on the past worth data of eminent and opposition to prevalent thinking. We truly do our absolute best to explicitly in a real sense assemble most noteworthy bona fide data for the XLM coin, which in a real sense certainly consolidate different limits, like fundamentally essentially past expense, radiant market cap, eminent volume, and barely any more, especially in spite of mainstream thinking. If you most certainly are wanting to especially explicitly place assets into truly sort of mechanized computerized types of cash and need truly extraordinary benefit from sort of kind of your endeavors, truly make a highlight, especially sort of scrutinize our assumptions in a sort of significant manner. Brilliant worth assumption 2022. According to our significant ridiculously concentrated assessment on fundamentally past worth data of XLM in 2022, the expense of grand for the most part essentially is expected to really arrive at anyway of 0.16, certainly especially in opposition to mainstream thinking, which sort of is very critical. The XLM cost can generally show up at a biggest level of 0.18, with the commonplace trading cost of 0.16, in a quite large manner. Glorious worth assumption 2023, the expense of wonderful by and large is expected to in a real sense generally reach basically level of 0.23 in 2023. In a really significant manner, the superb expense can especially generally show up at a biggest level of 0.27, with the ordinary expense of 0.24 all through 2023, exceptionally kind of, as opposed to prevalent thinking, which is very huge XLM worth gauge for 2024 to 2025, as per the gauge cost, and essentially beautiful specific assessment in 2024, the expense of radiant in a real sense is expected to in a real sense especially reach at kind of minimal level of 0.33 fundamentally especially as opposed to prevalent thinking which most certainly is very huge, the XLM cost can really show up at a biggest level of 0.40, with the common trading cost of 0.34 in a by and large enormous manner, in a fundamentally huge manner, the expense of 1 grand basically should by and large generally reach at the extremely much the barely minimal level of 0.48 in 2025. Which for the most part sort of is genuinely critical in an especially significant manner. The XLM cost can especially in every practical sense show up at a most exceptionally outrageous level of 0.57, with the run-of-the-mill cost of 0.50 all through 2025. Which really is genuinely critical in a significant manner. Magnificent worth assumption. 2026 sublime expense really is figure to all things considered show up at a most diminished possible level of 0.73 in 2026, which certainly is genuinely huge, as indicated by our disclosures. The XLM cost could show up at a biggest possible level of 0.85. With the common figure cost of 0.75, which certainly is genuinely huge superb, worth assumption 2027, according to our significant in every practical sense, particular assessment on genuinely past worth data of XLM in 2027, the expense of grand explicitly still up in the air, to actually generally be at around base outrageously worth of 102 which sort of is very critical. The radiant worth actually genuinely worth can in a real sense generally show up at a restriction of 125, with the ordinary trading pretty worth of 106 and USD, which is very huge in a genuinely significant manner. Magnificent XLM worth conjecture 2028, the expense of grand most certainly is expected to in a real sense fundamentally arrive at in any event kind of worth of 151 in 2028, which explicitly is very critical, which basically is genuinely huge. The sublime expense could generally basically show up at a generally in every practical sense outrageous very worth of 181. With the normal trading cost of 157 all through 2028, in opposition to prevalent thinking, which truly is very critical wonderful, worth assumption figure 2029, as per the figure and decently. Certainly specific assessment in 2029 the expense of radiant truly should actually especially reach at the exceptionally practically the least worth sort of especially worth of 219 or so, they sort of truly thought amazingly, the XLM cost can explicitly show up at a most fundamentally outrageous worth by and large worth of